The paper was the color of dried blood, sealed with actual wax. My grandmother's shaky handwriting read, "For Sophia, on her 31st birthday. Open only when you're truly lost." I was lost in a prestigious medical residency, drowning in debt, and utterly alone. My family, the illustrious Qin dynasty of surgeons and philanthropists, hadn't spoken to me since I chose emergency medicine over their lucrative private practice. They called it a betrayal. I called it breathing. When the wax cracked, a single, yellowed key fell into my palm. Not a house key. A safe deposit box key, numbered 347. Taped beneath it was a slip of paper with an address in a part of the city everyone in my family pretended didn't exist: the Harborview Trust and Storage. The manager, an old man with a fisherman's patience, led me to a wall of small, brass-fronted boxes. 347 opened with a soft click. Inside lay no stocks, no jewels, no apology. Just a slim, black USB drive and a faded Polaroid. The photo showed my grandmother, young and fierce, standing before a modest storefront with a sign that read, "Chun Community Clinic. All welcome. Pay what you can." My grandmother, the matriarch who'd later host galas at the Opera House, had once run a free clinic, a history my parents had meticulously erased. I plugged the drive into my laptop in the storage unit's dim light. It wasn't a will. It was a war journal. Spreadsheets, dates, scanned letters. It detailed the systematic dismantling of that clinic. The pressure from developers. They suggested sales. The money that vanished, not into the family fortune, but into offshore accounts held by a shell company called Veritas Holdings. The final entry was a transfer, dated the month my grandfather died, $12.7 million. The beneficiary wasn't the family trust. It was my father, Ethan Chen. The shock wasn't that they'd hidden wealth. It was which wealth they'd stolen. They hadn't just disowned me from my career path. They'd built their empire on the very thing I'd chosen, community care, and then buried the evidence. My phone buzzed. An invitation, auto-generated from the family office, the annual Qin Gala, celebrating a legacy of healing. Irony, thick and bitter, coated my tongue. I RSVP'd. Yes. I didn't go to expose them. Not yet. I went to see the stage. The gala was a cathedral of self-congratulation. My father gave a speech about ethical stewardship. My mother, in jade and silk, spoke of humble beginnings. I wore a simple black dress, a ghost at their feast. From my clutch, I felt the cold weight of the USB drive. My grandmother hadn't given me a weapon, she'd given me a compass. The truth wasn't for a scandal. It was for rebuilding. The next morning, I didn't go to the hospital. I went to the address in the Polaroid. The storefront was now a pawn shop, grimy and sad. The owner, Mr. Kim, remembered my grandmother. She was a saint, he said, eyes softening. When they forced her out, this neighborhood lost its heart. Did she own the building? I asked. He shrugged. Family did. Sold it quick after she left. A public records search, fueled by sleepless nights and a medical researcher's tenacity, revealed the trail. The building had been sold for a pittance to a number company, which flipped it for millions a year later. That number company was a subsidiary of Veritas Holdings. The profit had funded my brother's first venture capital fund. My revenge wasn't a leak to the press. It was a purchase. Using every cent of my crushing student loans and a strategic, confidential loan from a medical ethics nonprofit I'd quietly contacted, I made an offer on a derelict building 3 blocks from the original clinic. IT was rejected. A higher offer from a development consortium appeared. I traced the consortium's lawyer back to my father's golf partner. So I played my one card. I requested a meeting with my father, not at his office, but at the old storage unit. He came, baffled and irritated by the location. "Sophia, this melodrama is beneath you." I said nothing. I simply opened box 347, handed him the Polaroid, and powered up my laptop, opening the file showing the $12.7 million transfer. The color drained from his face. It wasn't guilt I saw. It was the terror of a cracked facade. Your grandmother, she was idealistic, unrealistic. This was consolidation for the family's future. You stole from a clinic to build a gallery wing with your name on it, I said, my voice eerily calm, the voice I use in the ER to deliver terrible news. I'm not here to blackmail you. I'm here to give you a choice. I slid a single piece of paper across the cold metal table. It was an offer to purchase the derelict building at a fair market price, signed by me. The buyer was listed as the Lee Chun Memorial Clinic, proposed. Lee Chun was my grandmother's name. Sign this, I said. Donate the amount of the original clinic's final valuation to its founding. Do it anonymously. And you never have to see me again. Your legacy remains intact if hollow. He stared at the paper, then at the Polaroid of his mother. For a flickering moment, I saw the boy who might have loved that woman. Then it was gone, replaced by the cold calculus of preservation. He signed. The fallout was invisible to the public. The Chun legacy shone on. But in a refurbished building in a forgotten neighborhood, the Lee Chun Clinic opened its doors 8 months later. We serve everyone. No questions asked. My family didn't crumble. They just faded from my view. Sometimes, the most powerful silence isn't the one you keep, but the truth you choose to speak through your actions. My grandmother didn't leave me an inheritance. She left me a foundation. And from it, I'm finally building a life that's truly my own.